This is the Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Erika Kristensen. On the Scorecard tonight, Creamline cruises into PVL All-Filipino quarters after dominant win over NXLED. Denice Zamboanga eyes MMA glory and won 173 title showdown with stamped Fairtex set for Denver. F1 testing shakes up the grid, rain, surprise leaders, and early favorites emerge. In the NBA, Giannis dominates as Bucks take down Nuggets 121-112. While Curry erupts for 56 as Warriors hold off Magic 121-115. And joining us in the BNC studio tonight, Santino Rosales to talk about how he is carving his own path in the world of sports. All the headlines and more on the Scorecard tonight, the 28th of February. Now, here's a roundup. The Creamline Cool Smashers wasted no time securing their spot in the PVL All-Filipino Conference quarterfinals, dismantling the NXLED Chameleons in straight sets 25-18, 25-17, and 25-17. From the opening serve, Creamline took control and never looked back, showcasing their championship pedigree against 12th-ranked NXLED. With their spot in the next round locked in, the top-seeded Cool Smashers now await the 8th seed from the play-in tournament. In the third set, Bernadette Pons and newlywed Michelle Gumabao delivered clutch plays to keep NXLED at bay. Creamline built a commanding 22-14 lead before closing out the match as Kiara Permentilla's attack for NXLED went wide. Kyle Negrito was the engine behind Creamline's relentless attack, dishing out 15 excellent sets while adding 4 points of her own. Her stellar performance earned her Player of the Game honors. With their eyes on another championship run, the Cool Smashers are firing on all cylinders as they charge into the quarterfinals. Filipina MMA star Denice Zamboanga is on the verge of making history as she gets ready to throw down with one women's atomweight MMA world champion stamped Fairtex in a high-stakes title unification clash at 173, happening on August 1 this year, 2025, at Ball Arena in Colorado. Zamboanga, who clinched the interim atomweight title with a stunning knockout win over Aliona Rasoyina at One Fight Night 27, now has a golden opportunity to become the undisputed queen of this division. But of course, standing in her way is Stamp, her former training partner and one championship's first three-sport world champion. Now, the showdown has been brewing for years. The two were originally set to clash actually back in 2024, but an injury unfortunately forced Stamp to withdraw. Now fully recovered, the Thai superstar is ready to defend her crown and remind everybody why she is the champion. One championship continues to gain momentum in North America following its electric U.S. debut in 2023 and a sold-out Ball Arena event for 168 last year. The promotion promises another historic night with Zamboanga versus Stamp as the headliner, plus more blockbuster matchups yet to be announced. Bahrain's F1 preseason testing took an unexpected turn as desert rain disrupted day 2. Temperatures stayed low, keeping track conditions tricky and leaving teams scrambling for runtime. Haas made the most of the wet session with Esteban Ocon using intermediate tires while most teams stayed in the garage. Aston Martin had wet tires too, but missed the brief chance to use them. Once the track dried, though, lap time started dropping and a few teams made statements, with Carlos Sainz of Williams topping the day 2 leaderboard. Lando Norris's long run stole the spotlight, though, outpacing Leclerc and Antonelli on similar tires. His speed on the hard C1 compound was especially eye-catching, but whether it translates to race day remains to be seen. Carlos Sainz's fastest lap turned heads, but more impressive was his consistent race simulation. With improved preparation and an early upgrade strategy, Williams looks ready to fight in a packed midfield. Testing times only tell a part of the story, but with McLaren looking quick, Williams improving, and Red Bull still a question mark, oh, the 2025 season is already heating up. Former world chess champion Boris Spassky, best known for his historic 1972 loss to Bobby Fischer in the match of the century, has passed away sadly in Moscow at the age of 88. Spassky, a Soviet chess prodigy, held the world title from 1969 to 1972. His showdown with Fischer during the Cold War transformed chess into a global spectacle, drawing unprecedented attention to the game. Now, despite his defeat, he remained a revered figure in the chess world and later emigrated to France in 1976. Garry Kasparov paid tribute, calling Spassky a mentor who didn't fit comfortably into the Soviet machine. The International Chess Federation hailed him as one of the greatest players of all time who left an indelible mark on the game. In the NBA, Giannis Antetokounmpo may have gone slightly over his minute limit, but he made every second count. Despite Coach Doc Rivers trying to keep him under just 32 minutes to avoid aggravating a left calf strain, Giannis logged 32 minutes and 37 seconds and still put up a monster performance with 28 points, 19 rebounds, and 7 assists to lift the Milwaukee Bucks past the Denver Nuggets in 121-112 on Thursday night. Milwaukee was in control for most of the game, but when Denver cut the deficit to just 5 with just over 2 minutes left, Giannis delivered in clutch time. He sank 2 free throws after grabbing an offensive board, then drilled a jumper after a Nuggets turnover to help seal that deal. Brook Lopez chipped in 22 points, Damian Lillard added 19, and Kyle Kuzma dropped 16 as the Bucks continue their hot streak, winning 5 of their last 6 and 8 of their last 10. Milwaukee now sits at 33-25, hanging on to the number 5 spot in the East, just a half game ahead of Detroit. On the other side, though, Nikola Jokic did everything he could to keep Denver in it, recording his 27 triple-double of the season with 32 points, 14 rebounds, and 10 assists on an efficient 13 of 16 shooting. Wow! Jamal Murray added 20, while Christian Braun had 13 points and 10 boards, but it wasn't enough to avoid the Nuggets' second loss in 3 games. Meanwhile, Stephen Curry was on another level Thursday night, lighting up Orlando for a scorching 56-point performance that propelled the Golden State Warriors to a 121-115 win over the Magic. Dropping 12 three-pointers and single-handedly taking over the game, Curry once again showed why he is the greatest shooter the game has ever seen. The Warriors needed every bit of his heroics, climbing out of a 17-point hole after trailing 66-52 at the half. Curry ignited the comeback with a logo 3 to close out the second quarter, then put on a show in the third, outscoring the entire Magic team 22-21. Curry fell just 2-3 short of Klay Thompson's record for most in a game, but still notched his 14th career 50-point performance. He was deadly efficient here, hitting 12 of 19 from deep and going a perfect 12 for 12 from the free throw line. Warriors coach Steve Kerr highlighted how even Magic fans were mesmerized by his performance. Orlando kept it close behind Paolo Banchero's 41-point effort, pulling within 2 late in the fourth, but Curry responded like only he can, drilling another dagger 3 to put the game out of reach. And here are more results from around the NBA. Ever wondered what it's like to be completely trapped in a chess game? Where every move you make only makes things worse. Well, welcome to the world of Zugzwang. Now in chess, strategy is everything. But you know what? Sometimes a player finds themselves in a position where they must make a move, yet every possible move puts them at a disadvantage. Now this situation is actually called the Zugzwang. A German word meaning compulsion to move. It often happens in endgames where a player wishes they could just skip their turn. But since that's actually not allowed in chess, they're forced into a move that ultimately weakens their position. Now, even legendary grandmasters have fallen victim to the Zugzwang, showing that sometimes the biggest challenge in chess is having to move at all. So the next time you play chess, watch out for Zugzwang, because in this game, sometimes the worst move is simply having to make one. It is time for our off-court buzzer. Juan Soto's move to the New York Mets has ignited a rivalry with Aaron Judge of the Yankees, promising to elevate New York baseball to new heights. Soto's 15-year, $765 million contract with the Mets and Judge's 9-year, $360 million deal with the Yankees ensure that these sluggers will compete head-to-head for at least the next 7 seasons. Now, last season, both players delivered outstanding performances, with Judge securing his second All-MVP award and Soto finishing third in the voting. Their combined offensive output drew comparisons to legendary duos like Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth. Soto's presence in the Mets lineup is expected to have a significant impact on teammate Pete Alonso. With Soto batting second and Alonso third, Alonso anticipates better pitches and improved offensive opportunities. As the 2025 season approaches, fans and analysts alike are eager to witness how this rivalry unfolds. The head-to-head matchups between Soto and Judge are poised to be must-watch events, adding a new chapter to the storied history of New York baseball. And that's our roundup for tonight, the 28th of February. When we return, Santino Rosales joins us right here at the BNC studio to talk about how he is carving his own path in football. So watch out for that and more right here on The Scorecard.
Ito po si Father Nono.
Ako po si Father Fiel Pareha.
Ako si Risa Singson Kaupeng.
Kape at pandasal na po tayo. Ito po si Cardinal Chito Tagle.
Hello and welcome to Follow the Money. I'm Rain Musni. Join us as we explore the tools and insights you need to jumpstart your financial journey.
We empower.
This country deserves a real choice in the next election.
We motivate.
Do not invest money that you're not able to afford to lose.
Changes that are vital.
We're monitoring the sale of these products online.
Follow the money with Rain Musni.
Keep it here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Always on top.
Good evening, I'm Pinky Webb.
The questions.
What did you uncover?
Kita natin yung sa IPO. There was a violation of Section 8 of Republic Act 9511.
The issues.
Is there a problem with that, the present setup of the syntax?
The reason there's a 5% increase is because of inflation.
We clarify matters.
All these government agencies were actually the lowest. That's why it has to be, I hope that it will be addressed.
Pinky Webb is always on point. From the filing of candidacies until the last ballot is counted, your newest trusted news source, BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel, will be at the forefront to guide your decisions and guard your vote. Tune in to BNC's Election 2025 special coverage. Every morning, let's start your day right and laugh with fun. Join Paulo Del Rosario.
So excited to bring it all here for you.
And Asis Carrillo.
Always a pleasure sharing our mornings with you. Don't forget, wherever this day takes you, choose joy and spread kindness.
And Monique Guzon.
Your mornings are more fun with us. Join us in the next hour for stories and conversations that matter.
Only here on
It's a Beautiful Day!
Welcome back to The Scorecard. He plays as center back for Maharlika Taguig FC, and he also marked a new milestone by getting into the starting 11 for a PFL game. We're so proud of you. Here to talk about how he is carving his own path in the world of sports. Welcome to The Scorecard in the studio, Santino Rosales.
Hi,
Santino,
Erika.
it's so nice to see you.
Yeah, it's nice to finally be here.
It's
a pleasure, definitely, for me.
Of course, especially because I know this is your first live interview when it comes to sports specifically, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, we're so excited to know about your story. So let's begin, Santino.
Let's get into it.
Tell us about your journey in football. Like, how did you start? Who even pushed you into the sport? When?
Okay, I started maybe around 12 years old, but it was just kicking around, watching football videos of Ronaldo, just playing in my grandma's backyard. I didn't start properly training until I was 14, which is relatively late for a footballer. I started when my mom asked me if I wanted to join the Kaya Academy. It was a definite yes for me, and then from there my journey just started. I think one of the biggest milestones was getting into Davao Aguilas under 23. From there it was Copa, then PFL, and then now I'm at Maharlika. So it's the journey is still definitely young, and I'm looking forward to what else it has to offer.
All right. Now, out of all of the clubs that you mentioned, because I also know that you've had a vast experience when it comes to football as well. When was that pivotal moment for you when you decided that wow, like I can actually make a career out of football? Do you remember that moment? Walk us through that.
Yeah, I do actually, and it wasn't too long ago. It was about 2-3 years ago, just after the pandemic, because in college I kind of gave up on football and realized that it wasn't worthwhile pursuing my childhood dream. But after the pandemic, I got an opportunity to try out for the Davao Aguilas under 23, as I mentioned earlier. And from there, I kind of saw that some of people that I knew who I was playing with were going pro. And so I told myself, like, okay, maybe there's still time to rekindle the childhood dream and pursue it. I think that was really the turning point for me, where I went for it.
Right. Okay, you did mention about your college experience in football. I know that you also played for the De La Salle football team back in the day, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and now obviously you're shifting professionally in football, playing now for Maharlika FC. So can you tell us the difference, between collegiate football and professional football?
Well, I didn't actually get to play in the UAAP competition because I was juggling that and the club activities at the same time. But I mean, I got to train with them, and really the difference is quite big. It's not exactly something you see on TV or on the internet when you're streaming it. You got to be immersed in it to understand that there are certain things and intricacies that are present in the pro level that aren't there in collegiate. So the quality is definitely so much better as a pro, and it took a while for me to adjust to it.
Okay, let's talk about adjustments. What was the biggest adjustment that you had to make coming into the pro leagues?
I guess it's trying to fight for time to play, and trying to earn respect as a player. But yeah, you really just have to keep your head down, keep working hard, and constantly tell yourself that there's always room to improve, and to listen to people who are better than you. So that's been my philosophy for my football journey, really.
In football, how do you exactly fight for time to play on the pitch? Like, do you prove that in trainings, or how do you do that?
Definitely in training, because as most coaches say, you gotta train how you want to play in game.
Okay.
So that's really the first avenue to prove yourself. But also, when you do get the chance, you gotta take it. You gotta make sure that you give everything out there so that they can see if you deserve another chance or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Santino, I also know that, of course, aside from being a professional football player, you also are a professional model as well. I also know that you were an entrepreneur, or is an entrepreneur? Sort of still?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a lot of projects on your plate right now, but what is it about football that just gravitates you back to that?
Well, okay, I from an early age, I already knew what I wanted, which is to be a businessman, a professional footballer, and then modeling on the side. Gravitate towards football again, time and time again, is really just the time. Because I understood that for modeling and business, my lifespan in those careers are a lot longer than it is in football. That's why this is my current focus right now.
Right.
Yeah, while I'm still young.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, just out of curiosity, Santino, because we all know that your dad is also one of the best actors of our time. Has acting always been in the cards for you as well? Or definitely, was it an interest for you or talagang
Never.
football talaga from an early age?
Yeah, it
Football.
was football and business for me, and a bit of modeling. But showbiz acting was not for me. Like, I did a few workshops. I was told that I had the skill set to excel in it, but there's really no passion for me in it.
Right.
So that's why I don't want to pursue it at all.
And at least you can say that confidently because it's not as if you haven't tried it, right?
Mhm.
Like you've tried it and you can confidently say that no, it's really not.
Yeah.
It's really not my thing.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing that your parents never pushed you
Yeah.
towards that direction. They still gave you the freedom to find out who you are and what you like.
Very supportive.
Yeah. Okay, Santino. What are some of the challenges that you face as a professional football player here in the Philippines specifically? Let's localize it here.
Well, first of all, I guess it's something that all footballers go through, which is that the platform that we have isn't that great compared to other countries.
Correct, yes.
Because first of all, it's not as popular. That's the main thing. Because it's not as popular, it doesn't generate as much revenue, and because there's no revenue, the support we get as footballers isn't that great. But I have to commend what we're getting is already amazing compared to before. So there's that. But as an individual, really it's just constantly working and trying to be strong mentally, because being on the bench or fighting for time, as I mentioned earlier, it's tough mentally, and nobody talks about that. So I think that's my biggest struggle as an athlete.
Right. Okay, I want to pivot back to what you said earlier, because the other day we actually invited Natasha Alquero. She's currently the president of the Women's Philippine Football Association here in the Philippines. And, you know, she was kind of just relaying and sharing with us some of the struggles that not only women in sports go through, but football here in the Philippines in general, what they go through.
Yeah.
But in your opinion, Santino, what do you think can be done pa to kind of expand the sport in terms of its popularity here in the Philippines? To, of course, also invite, you know, like young people, kids, to join the sport even more and appreciate it even more.
I think one of the biggest opportunities we have right now in the Philippines is to be able to integrate it into into schools, basically, more schools. And as we know, we have a lot of unused land in the Philippines, which is an opportunity to create fields. It's also just changing the stigma that we can be good at this, as proven by the women's national team. So it's really just a shift in mentality that we need. Yeah.
Right, okay. All right, Santino, this has been such a fruitful discussion, but my last question for you is, what is your ultimate vision for yourself as a football player?
As a football player, I just really want to be happy. That's as simple as that.
Nice.
And
that means happiness. What does that mean
happiness for me means that I'm satisfied and I've given everything to the sport, and it's given me everything that I deserve back. So when I reach that point, that's when I know that I can retire and not have any regrets.
So you haven't retired yet. So I'm gonna guess you're not in that level, pa.
No.
Okay.
We're so far from
getting
that.
Getting there. Okay, Santino, it has been such a lovely discussion. Again, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you also.
All right. When the scorecard returns, we will look into what's buzzing in the F1 grid so you can keep your eyes on the prize. Welcome back to the scorecard. It is time to keep your eyes on the prize. Sainz versus Hamilton. Now, who holds the edge in Melbourne? Here we go. The 2025 Formula One season is officially here, and all eyes are on Albert Park Circuit for the Australian Grand Prix happening on March 14 to 16. With preseason testing in Bahrain complete, we have got a solid look at who is bringing the heat and who still has, some work to do. Now, for this season, two names have surged into the spotlight. We've got Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton. Both of these drivers showed elite pace in Bahrain's pre-session testing, setting the stage for a high-stakes battle at Albert Park. But who has the real edge going into the first race of the season? So, let's talk about it tonight. Carlos Sainz, first off. Carlos Sainz, legit threat or testing mileage? Sainz shocked the paddock by topping the timesheets in Bahrain, leaving some wondering, is Williams really this fast? I don't know. If the team's testing pace holds up, Sainz could actually be in the mix for a podium or, you know what, even a surprise win. Yes, I said it. But you know, let's be real. Testing times don't always exactly translate to race day. While the car looks more competitive than expected, the real question is actually whether Williams can maintain that speed all across the entire Grand Prix weekend. Was this a statement run or just a test session trick? Either way, Williams looks locked in. Now, on to the next. Lewis Hamilton ready to strike in red? Hamilton's switch to Ferrari was the biggest off-season storyline. I mean, everybody was in shock. Everybody was talking about it. And now he looks like a serious contender right off the gate. Just 0.031 off the fastest time. Hamilton's pace suggests he's already dialed into the Ferrari setup. Now, unlike Sainz, Hamilton here has decades of race-winning experience to back up his strong preseason form. If Ferrari continues to deliver competitive one-lap and race pace, Hamilton could actually be in prime position to contend for the victory in his first race with the team. Hamilton enters Melbourne with momentum, with confidence and experience, making him a strong contender for a top finish. Sainz, on the other hand, remains the biggest question mark. His Bahrain pace was undeniable, but can Williams actually hold its own under real race conditions? Hamilton has the advantage heading into round one, but if Williams can prove their testing form was real, Sainz could be the biggest surprise of the weekend, and we are about to find out. The Australian Grand Prix is just around the corner now. The big question is, will Hamilton make a statement in his Ferrari debut, or will Sainz pull off an early season shocker? One thing is for sure, though, it's going to be a thrilling start to 2025. So that wraps up our grid preview, so you can keep your eyes on the checkered flag. Now, before we go, think on this. From one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history who played 18 seasons and won 2 Super Bowls, Peyton Manning, nicknamed the Sheriff, once said, "Pressure is something you feel when you don't know what the hell you're doing." And with that said, thank you so much for joining us once again tonight. We'll see you next week on the Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. This is Erika Kristensen. Have a blessed evening.